What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. Back with another live stream today. It's match day, people. Can Arsenal finally win a game today? Can they score a goal? You know, can we have something positive to talk about at some stage? Obviously, I'll be back tonight, people, at 7:30 p.m. UK time for the watch along, 8 p.m. kickoff. Carabao Cup action. Arsenal, I think this is the first time in their history, I believe, that Arsenal are coming into the competition in the second round. Usually we come in the third round, but because we finished so low in the Premier League, you know, we have to come in at a different stage. So it is what it is, people. But we'll be looking at the latest transfer news and all the latest goings off at the soap opera that is Arsenal Football Club. Big up to everyone in the chat. Hope you're well. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. You know the drill, people. Getting great numbers on the videos. Don't forget to vote at the Football Content Awards. All the stuff's in the description below. Best content creator, best new content creator, and best in video. Big up to all of you. Hope you're well. Kailash said the background is fire. Do you know what? I saw a picture. I'm sure a lot of you saw it yesterday. Arsene Wenger was at Liverpool's training ground. I think he presented Jurgen Klopp with a FIFA award and Van Dijk, and I think Trent Alexander-Arnold got one. And you know what? Despite the way it ended with Arsene Wenger, I think as an Arsenal fan, you cannot help but feel some sort of emotion towards Arsene Wenger when you see him. He's like every Arsenal fan's uncle. You know, he's like our uncle, Uncle Wenger, man. It's a shame how it went, but you know, I'm so desperate right now with Mikel Arteta. They've actually got me looking at Wenger like I'd take him back at the club. But, you know, that's what desperation does, people. But listen, let's move on, people. Lots of stuff going around in the world of football. Harry Kane has announced he is staying in the prison, in the jail that is Tottenham. I put a tweet out saying Harry Kane has announced he will never win a trophy for the rest of his career by staying at Tottenham. Manchester City didn't want to go to 150 million pounds to buy him, so they've walked away. Obviously, Kylian Mbappe, as a lot of you are saying, Mbappe has announced he wants to leave PSG. I think they want 160 million pounds. They've offered 160 million euros. Real Madrid trying to get him done. So lots going off in the world of football. I can see a lot of familiar names in the chat, so big up to all of you for tuning in. And Harold is staying there forever. Let's move on. Arsenal, people, we have to get moving now. Yesterday, we were talking about the fact that Tottenham are being linked with Houssem Aouar. Sky Sports announced that they are in talks. Now, a lot of people were saying, Spurs only want Aouar and Adama Traore because Harry Kane's going to leave. Well, we now know that Harry Kane is staying, and they're showing more ambition than us, despite the fact they're paying off a new stadium. Arsenal have to get moving. They have to sign some players. I want to see one or two at least come in before this transfer window closes. It's a must. We're not good enough at the moment. This squad needs something else. Big up to Taylor Chains, who says, finally get to watch you live, Curtis. Big up, Taylor. Appreciate you tuning in. And everyone else who's in the chat. Let's have a look at the latest, people, the latest transfer news. Now, apparently, Houssem Aouar has been offered to Arsenal. They are now apparently desperate to move him on, Lyon. Lyon are having financial problems. And, you know, because of the Canal Plus television deal collapsing in France, pretty much every club in France outside of PSG has some sort of financial difficulty at the moment. Now, it's believed, and bear in mind, this is a player last summer. Apparently, they wanted 50 million euros for him. They're now willing to let him go on loan as long as there's an obligation to buy him for 25 million pounds at the end of the season. It's an absolute no-brainer. He's 22 years of age, ball-playing centre midfielder, 7 goals last season, wants to leave. They want him to go. He was our number one target last season, but Arsenal are just sitting there saying, no. Why? What are we waiting for? Now, apparently Tottenham want him as they believe that Ndombele will possibly leave before the end of the transfer window. But to me, Arsenal have to get moving. Apparently, Aouar is a big admirer of Arsenal, according to reports. It seems to me like a deal that Arsenal could get done, but for some reason, they're just not making the move. Now, I hope that this isn't because of Granit Xhaka? Are the club looking at it and going, do you know what? Just giving Granit Xhaka a new contract, are they not going to go for a midfielder? Even though clearly we're lacking qualities in that midfield, particularly creativity and goals, two things we desperately lack. Especially when you look at 6 goals from all of our midfielders last season, would suggest that we definitely need to strengthen in that position. So I don't understand. When you open the story, expand it further, it does say that Arsenal are considering making a move for him towards the end of the transfer window. Obviously, the transfer window closes in 6 days. I think the general feeling around Arsenal is that they will not sign anybody until a handful of players are moved on. We know that the likes of Kolasinac, Willian, Torreira, I think Eddie and Nketiah as well, the club are trying to move 4 or 5 players out of the door. Hopefully then they can make a move for somebody like Aouar at the end of the transfer window, maybe actually next Tuesday on deadline day. I'm going to be doing lots of footage next Tuesday as well, people. Expect probably 3 live streams next Tuesday. I'll be going to the Emirates and doing some filming. I've got some filming to do down there. And when the window closes, I think around 11 p.m. in the evening, I will be live for that as well. So next Tuesday, keep locked in for that, people. The number 12 shirt is waiting for him. If it makes sense, Big C, it won't happen. I see. Club don't do anything that makes sense, I'm telling you. Scott says, big up. C Dizzle, missed the show yesterday, but on it today. Votes are in. Big up, people. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm telling you, mate, you might get a 3, 4, 5 hour stream out of me next Tuesday. We might just go live all afternoon. Sure Sports News, man. Forget Sky Sports News, people. We'll keep it locked. I might even turn up in the suit like Jim White, you know. Bring back Saliba, if only. See you next Tuesday then. Hey, you want to drop that? I know what you did there, Eric. I see what you're doing. I ain't going to fall for that. Taylor Chain said, on loan, get it done, people. This might be our only way to squeeze in 2 more signings in this window, or bargains or loans. And big up Taylor with the super chat. And you make a great point, because if Arsenal are sitting there thinking, okay, financially we're a little bit stretched here and we can't add too many players, it's a loan. We don't have to pay anything. All right, there may be a small fee up front, £1 million or something. You pay the 25 million over a few years. It's an absolute no-brainer for Arsenal. And my worry is Tottenham seem to be going for him. They're making the move. As I said yesterday, are Arsenal now a club that will be blacklisted with young French players? Guendouzi's not going to have anything good to say about Mikel Arteta. Saliba is not going to. You know, I'm not sure if these players will now want to come to Arsenal. We were the go-to team for young French players under Arsene Wenger. We had that great reputation. But under Arteta, will that still be the case? Aouar to Spurs, his best mate is Ndombele. I mean, obviously, if Ndombele leaves, then that may make him look at that club differently. Yek said, I'll be watching. Big up. Dollar Hyde said, Sure Sports News. Big up. Yo, we're coming, people, next Tuesday. Forget Sky Sports. Forget Jim White. Keep it locked. Sure Sports. I'll turn up in the suit and the bow tie if necessary, people. Rowan said, but Curtis, Arsenal want to buy for 50 million. Yeah, probably. They're probably saying, no, we don't want him on loan. We'll pay 50, and then they can't even afford 50. So you know what Arsenal are like. Big up Cliff with the super chat. He said, I'm in Miami on a bus listening on the way to work, bruv. Why even bother with this? Even if we do get him under this gaffer, he'll end up a waste man. I mean, listen, there's a lot of reports going around at the moment, and I think there's a lot of things happening in the background with Arsenal in terms of the whole setup, in terms of the manager, in terms of Edu. I think the club are starting to realize that the route that we were kind of going down is not actually working. So I think you will see change, but how long is it going to take is the problem. Yellow tie settings, man, I'm telling you. Retro Petro, great, Dave said. Would you take Jerome Boateng on a free? I mean, he's experienced. I think he's past his best. Don't get me wrong, he's better than Rob Holding, Callum Chambers. He's better than what we've got, but at his age, coming to the Prem on a massive wage, I don't know if that's the route to go down, to be honest. Over 1,500 of you in here now already, people. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Road to 40k and beyond. Nigel said, big up, Curtis. Vote for you today. Really enjoying your content. Thank you very much, bro. Vedich said, imagine a three of Partey, Aouar, and Odegaard. Decent. I'd take that. You know, we got the power of Partey and the ball playing ability of the others. Bakuta said, would you go for Zuma? I mean, reports today, Zuma is on his way to West Ham, 25 million. Again, Zuma is better than what we've got. Maybe not everyone, but he's better than your Chambers and people like that. I just think he's clumsy on the ball. And if Arteta wants to play out from the back, Zuma is not somebody you go for. But he's a beast. But I always have these pictures in my head of Aubameyang just destroying him at Wembley. Same with Boateng. Every time I think of Boateng, I just think about Messi spinning him all over the place. Curtis Shaw TV and Chill. Big up Buenos Aires. Guna always supporting the channel. Big up Patrick says, big up Mr. Shaw all the way from DR Congo. Big up, bro. Jashar, hope you're well, bro. Said, big up Curtis. I agree. Arsenal currency with young French players would be rock bottom. They wouldn't want to come here now. A lot of them wouldn't. Some would, obviously. They would still see it as a massive opportunity. In this report actually states that Lyon have not had a single offer for Houssam Aouar all summer, which is crazy for a guy that, you know, seemed like he was extremely wanted last season. Daza said, yo, Big C, would it make sense to play 4-3-3 with Partey, Odegaard and Aouar in the middle? I think he'll be quite lit. I think eventually Arsenal are going to have to sack off playing with a number 10 and play with a three-man midfield because I don't think we have the pivot to carry a number 10. I think number 10s are going out of fashion in football now. You look at a lot of the big clubs, your Real Madrids, you know, Zidane's turning point at Real Madrid was going from an attacking midfielder to a defensive midfielder behind two centre mids. They used to play with Isco in front of Toni Kroos and Modric. He moved Isco wide and put Casemiro behind Modric and Toni Kroos. They won the Champions Leagues from that point. You look at Liverpool, have had huge success. Don't play with a number 10. Your David Silvas, your Mesut Ozils, your Juan Matas, their little number 10, they've kind of gone out of the game now. And I don't know if Arsenal have got the midfield to carry that. My Life said, hey, look, Big C, smash the likes and subscribe. Sophie Zalaz said, Qatari Prince brother of the PSG owner tweeted to Arsenal, it's time to sell, London is red. Do you know what? I saw that. For anybody who hasn't seen that, one of the Qatari princes who's part of a family that is worth, I read well over, I think it said over 50 billion pounds. It may have even been more than that. He put out a tweet saying, Arsenal, as you've said here, it's time to sell, London is red. Somebody then put on Instagram, come and save Arsenal. And he actually reposted that. And he then said something about in 7 months, which I think he was kind of implying that by the end of the season, I will make a move. Now, we're not going to start jumping on it. This could be another Daniel Ek. He's looking for publicity. It could be, you know, a guy who just wants to get his face out there in the press. But we wouldn't mind, you know, a Qatari prince, family of the guys who own PSG, coming in and buying Arsenal. He has huge, huge money behind him and in his family. Oil settings, man. I remember Arsenal, we always, you know, a lot of the fans, not me, by the way, but a lot of the fans used to say, I don't ever want to be owned by oil money. Shane said it's actually 300 billion. They used to say, oh, we don't want oil money. You know, we don't want to go the route of Man City and Chelsea. Now we're kind of condoning it. For me, I was always on it. You know, I want Arsenal to compete. So I have no problem if we have, you know, oil money owners. Let's do it. Oil business, man. Nicholas said, Curtis, I was checking out Windsor Park in Dominica. My friend has a house near Morn Bruce. Trained there, played there, Windsor Park, played football on there, played games on there, watched cricket there. Great stadium, great atmosphere, man. Brings back fond memories. Hopefully I'll be back over there at some point. Aaron said, Aouar is known as a troublemaker. Do we want that? Arteta, that's probably the reason he's not going for him. You know, he'd be scared of a player like that, Aaron. So appreciate your super chat. But I have heard he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. So that's maybe why we're not going for him. No more Chelsea rejects, said Dominic. Eric said, but does Conte like Zuma? Let's hope so. Blue Moon said Zuma walks into Arsenal's first team. Again, I think he probably does. He's incredible in the air. And he is a bit of an old-fashioned defender. He's a little bit clumsy though, but it looks like he's going to end up at West Ham. Big up Sebs in the chat. Hope you're well, bro. Camille said, "What do you think about Saul and Koundé to Chelsea?" I mean, what do they say? The rich get richer. You know, the good teams get even better, and the bad teams get worse. You know, Saul is a very good player. Remember, Manchester City were linked with him for huge money. And what they saying now, 40, 50 million, loan with an obligation to buy. It's a fantastic deal if Chelsea get that done. So, yeah, Koundé, I'm not too sure how good he is, to be honest. I haven't seen enough of him. HMT said, just voted Big C. Big up, bro. Big up Reedy in the chat says, big up Big C. Loving the C Dizzle, by the way. Let's all chip in and get Aouar's plane ticket sorted ASAP. Just get him done, man. We want him in here. We want to see a ball playing centre mid. Afam said, would you take Jack Wilshere or Santi Cazorla back? Seen the Ornstein interview. Yeah, we will talk about that shortly, actually, Afam. I wouldn't take either one of them back. You know, Jack Wilshere, you know, he didn't have a successful season last year at Bournemouth in the Championship. Santi Cazorla, I think, plays in Qatar now, Xavi's club. I think those stories have finished in terms of Arsenal. Emotionally, you'd love to see both of them back, but in terms of where they're at, I'm not sure. Alvin said, what's up, Curtis? What you saying? And I'm at work on my break watching your stream. Big up for tuning in as always, bro. Vedich said, voted for you in the best content creator. Big up, bro. Much appreciated. Oil wins title, says Venefia. Listen, if it needs to be oil, it needs to be oil. Yeah, if we have to build a petrol station next to the Emirates, then so be it. That's the price of success, then we'll take it, people. I just want to see Arsenal successful, and what we're doing at the moment is not working. So for me, if it's oil, petrol, I'll take it. Diesel, you know, let's do it. Grease it up, yes. DV said, Big C, why do you think Aouar is that good? Why hasn't anyone went in for him at such a low price? Honestly, I can't say. I cannot say. Is it an attitude problem? I'm really not sure. I'm not sure. We know earlier in the summer, Liverpool were linked with him. Now Tottenham are being linked. Arsenal are still in the background. I think he's a good player. I like him. I've watched him a few times. He can dribble, low center of gravity. He's got a good shot, good pass, nice balance. 22 years of age. He can get better as well. I would definitely go for him. Wilshere is finished. Yeah, I mean, listen. I met Jack Wilshere before. I had a good chat with him. And he seems like a top guy. Loves Arsenal. But it is what it is, man. I just don't think we're in that position to bring him in. Curtis, imagine Wenger doing Edu's job. The French connections would be endless. So all he'd have to do is make a phone call. It'd be done. Christopher said Bissouma and Aaron's. I think we'd love that. Big up Dennis for becoming a new member on the channel. Much appreciated for your support. Look out for the members' content. So thank you very much for that, Dennis. Wilshere or Xhaka. I mean, when you put it like that, mate, let's get Jack back. Forget everything I said. He's probably still better on the ball than Granit Xhaka, let's be honest. Jack said, are you confident on tonight's game? No, I'm not. I think we'll probably scrape a win. It doesn't go to extra time either, so it goes to penalties. So if we don't handle business in 90 minutes, but I think Mikel Arteta will pick a strong team because I think he knows there's too much pressure on him, and I think he can't afford to take chances and end up with a team out there that West Brom can end up beating. So while we're on the subject, let's talk about Mikel Arteta. A lot of reports going around and a couple of things that I wanted to talk about regarding Mikel Arteta. A report that came out from Mikel Delaney. It is actually a very good piece. This goes into a lot of detail on Arsenal and Arteta. And as he said here, a big piece on Arteta and Arsenal as they stand on the brink of crisis. Listen, mate, I don't think we're on the brink of crisis, mate. We're deep in the middle of it. This ain't no brink, you know. But he goes on to say the board are not moving yet, but won't be a season of patience. This is in terms of Mikel Arteta. We know last season they were saying that you know they weren't looking to move him on. Let's put it that way. They're saying the attitude is not the same this season. Sabutio training sessions that are too clean. Now, I had to actually read the whole report to understand what they meant, because I was thinking, well, Sabutio, they kind of stand there. They don't move until you move them. Arteta's being called the mini Wenger in terms of control the issues with recruitment. Now, I've read this whole report, so I have an idea of what is being said in this report here, people. So what they're saying in terms of these Sabutio sessions, I mean, to call him a mini Wenger is an absolute disgrace on Arsene Wenger's part. You have to put more respect on Arsene than that. What they're saying is the training sessions are so much stop, start. As we were talking about the other day, we don't like them coaches who constantly stop the training session, that they're saying that the sessions are too clean. The players can't get on the training ground and just get involved in match-like situations because he's constantly stopping the session, which is where the Sabutio thing comes in. The players feel like they're standing around like Sabutio players. As you said, more like a mini Allardyce, mini Pulis, mini Alan Pardew. Don't be calling him no mini Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger is a legend of the football club. Mugabe settings. The players are not enjoying it. They're not enjoying it. Yeah, he's basically flicking these men around the pitch. I used to play Sabutio when I was a kid, man. The carpet used to crease up. You had to flatten the pitch, flick your Sabutio. He's flicked a few of our players around, that's for certain, Big up Pep Teta in the chat. And the players are not enjoying it. Sabutio training sessions. And what they're saying in this piece is basically that Arteta, they are backing him, but they are not going to just stand by and let this season crumble if they don't see progress. Now, the extension of what they were saying was this. They were talking about Antonio Conte. This was a shame. Can't say I'm surprised. It says, on Conte, I'm told he would be lukewarm regarding Arsenal, which probably says more about the club right now, although it seems United is the only English club he would go for right now. Now, he doesn't completely dismiss it. What it's saying with Antonio Conte is Antonio Conte would be willing to go to Arsenal, but he doesn't believe that the way the club is set up would enable him to be successful. He said, even though when he went to Chelsea, Chelsea was struggling, the owner had promised him backing in the transfer market. And that's why he believed he could turn Chelsea around, which he did very quickly. He's not sure whether Arsenal would do that, which is understandable. So even though it sounds quite negative what you're reading, it does say that he respects the size of the club of Arsenal, but he obviously doesn't believe the owners would give him the backing that he would require, which I think is something that we would all expect. We're not certain whether these owners would give Antonio Conte the backing that he would require. I think the general feeling is that if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer runs into a difficult patch at some stage this season, that he will be sacked and that they will go for Conte. So if Arsenal don't make the move, we're going to end up with no significantly good manager out there available. So they're going to have to make their mind up eventually. Big up to all of you who are saying you've got your votes in as well. Really appreciate it. Over 2,100 of you in the chat now. Can we hit 1,000 likes? Mancini in says, Neil, as I said, I think Mancini already announced he wouldn't leave Italy until after the World Cup at least, due to the fact, obviously, they won the Euros. Taz Perry said, Conte at United would be scary. They would be back. They would back him, unlike us. If Conte went to United, they would be genuine title challengers. They've got a good enough team to win the title now, but they don't have a good enough manager. You put Antonio Conte at United, I think they could win the title. Maybe not the first season, but, he would give them that opportunity. Big up Taylor Chains. Thank you very much for your kind donation, bro. Much appreciated. Said, as a coach, you have to prepare your players for the game. Explains why we are soft and looks like we have run out of ideas in the final third. Soft sessions and too much information and no creative freedom. That last sentence sums it all up. And I remember a player actually used to say that. I think it was Paul Merson who used to say training became too light where you couldn't tackle, and then that's why a lot of these players, when they go into the games in the Premier League, they get injured. because they're spending all week. No, don't tackle them. Don't do that. Stay away from him. Stop the session. Let me talk. Do this, do that. They're not robots, Mikel. They're not robots. You have to give them the creative freedom to play. This is why we attack so poor, because they're probably not even practicing those situations enough. Too much talking, too much information. Simple and effective, especially when it comes to more established footballers. You cannot teach Aubameyang that much at this age in his career. He's established in his game. You can tweak things, but they don't want overloads of information. So, yeah, I think you're spot on, Taylor. Really appreciate your super chat. Eric said, warm it up for Conte with some oil money. I'm telling you, if we need the takeover, get the Qatari owner in and then get Conte in here with the 200 million to spend, man. Conte knows. He knows. I actually take quite a bit of positives over what I read in this report, because it does say that Antonio Conte has respect for Arsenal and the size of the club, but doesn't believe or has question marks over whether they would back him to achieve success. As I've said over the past few days, and I've had a few comments from people, why do you think Arsenal would ever get Antonio Conte? He would never come to Arsenal. I'm telling you now, if the owners showed enough ambition, Conte would come to Arsenal. The problem is, I don't know if these owners would show the ambition. If they say 15 million a season, bring your staff members, there's your budget to go and turn the club around next summer, I think he would take it. But if they don't do that, he's going to say no. You know, I'm not going to put my reputation on the line. I'll wait for Solskjaer to get the sack and I'll go there. DDCFC said, but Big C, even Conte is similar, very rigid, always barking out instructions. Obviously 10 times better, but that shouldn't be a reason for sacking and then getting Conte. Your thoughts? Listen, I know Conte is very rigorous with his training and stuff like that. But number one, when he's telling you, you're being told by somebody that has achieved great things in football. You're more likely to listen to somebody like that than you are Mikel Arteta. So that's for one. Conte is a proven winner, one of the probably best 4 or 5 managers in world football. And he improves players. He has philosophies and styles that work. That Chelsea team, although we're a bit defensive in terms of 3 or 5 at the back, they scored goals. You look at Diego Costa, what he was doing under Conte. They were banging goals in. Sweet Boy said, big up yourself, bro. Everybody talking about Aouar's attitude, but it's all he say, she say. That's what they said about Aubameyang when he was leaving Dortmund. Get Aouar in, 100%. Lots of people were saying Aubameyang has got an attitude problem. He'll poison your dressing room. I haven't seen that. All right, he's turned up late a few times, but nothing significant. I've heard he's very popular in the dressing room. Raiko said, Conte to United is easy, not a challenge, kind of a joke if you're a brilliant tactician. Listen, Man United haven't won a trophy for 4 years, so it might appear on the outside that that's an easy job, but it would still create a challenge. Or is it 3 years? 3 or 4 years United haven't won a trophy. Since Mourinho was there. So I still think it would represent a challenge for Conte. Ali Jason said, thank you for your super chat. If this board want to go with a long-term plan, they should get Overmars and Eric Ten Hag. And you make another great point there in terms of Marc Overmars, and you lead me on nicely to the next story that we're going to get into. We're going to talk about Overmars and people like that, and Edu. Oh my God, spot on, Curtis. This is why the players look confused. All theory and no practical. You know it. There's nothing worse. You know, you want to get your hands dirty. You want to get out there and practice. I don't want to hear you talking the whole time, Mikel Arteta. Let them play. Let them play. Someone said Arsenal a reality show. Yeah, Big Brother settings, man. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. If Conte comes, Xhaka will be asked to leave over voicemail. Yeah, didn't he famously leave a voicemail to Diego Costa telling him he was done? Big up Jay said, do you think we only saw the best of Arteta when he was able to use the water breaks to reinforce coach the players in the first lockdown? I think more than the water breaks, it was the system. I think playing 3 at the back. It gave us a springboard to attack and play counter-attack, but he doesn't want to play counter-attack because in general, counter-attack in football is sort of saying we're going to give control to the opposition and we're going to pick them off when they attack us. Arteta wants to play like Pep, where Pep wants to dominate the game. He wants more possession. And I don't think I don't think Arteta wants to play like that. But unfortunately, like I keep saying, we don't have the quality to dominate possession, especially against the big teams. Conte isn't good with youth, not generally, but I don't think he would turn his back on people like Saka and Smith Rowe, who are already very established players. GSB said, big up Curtis, we need a manager who can transition us from 4-2-3-1 to 4-3-3 or 3-5-2. A lot of people saying they want to see Arsenal play 3-5-2, potentially with two strikers up front for Arsenal. All or nothing is going to be interesting, says Joanne. I think that's an understatement. It's going to break records. I'll probably be doing watch-alongs for those episodes. Over nearly 2.5K now, people. Smash the likes. Make sure you subscribe. Keep supporting people. Don't forget, link in the description for the Football Content Awards and the categories that we're in. Your support is much appreciated. Aubameyang is not suited to the slow football we play, 100%. The best Aubameyang was the Aubameyang that we attacked at speed. That's where you saw the best. Omar said, man, put Wenger in the background, but being holding up on the Wenger stream. Don't worry, man. Anticipation. And then we'll create a great stream. The stream will be in the international break. You can hold me on that, 100%. It's History Channel settings in the background. Let's talk about the guy, Edu, the man between the Kroenkes and Mikel Arteta, the man taking care of transfer business, not very well, I must say, at Arsenal. And amazingly, this story broke last night and is all over the newspapers in England today. A Mirror exclusive, Edu is coming under pressure in his position at Arsenal. Arsenal are understood to be backing Arteta, but Edu could face a fight to save his job. Now, for me, I disagree with this. If this is sincerely true, I don't agree with this story. Because for me, Edu is as accountable as Mikel Arteta. So on one hand, yeah, Edu going, I hear that. I understand that. I haven't really got no problem with that because he hasn't proved himself. They're throwing money at him and he's blowing it. But how does Arteta get out of this scot-free? How? What's he doing? Is he having meetings and blaming Edu? Is he turning around saying, well, I didn't really want this player, but Edu bought him? I don't know. I would love to know how in that situation the manager gets away with it and the technical director gets his job put on the line. Surely they have to go together. I'm not sure. Oz said FBI coming in to arrest Edu with them brown envelope transfers. I mean, he's definitely done some funny deals, that's for certain. Big T said, Big C, voted for you, brother. Keep up the great content. Thank you, bro. I Am King said, did you see his wife giving the fans a middle finger? I saw her sticking her finger up as that fan was shouting over to Edu as he was leaving. Amsterdam Thailand said, been supporting Ajax all my life. I would take Wenger over Ten Hag any day. He's better than Arteta, but don't think you get some great coach with Ten Hag. Interested. A lot of people rate Ten Hag highly. Tony said, just voted. Big up. HMT said, Mikel snitching on Edu. I'm telling you, I reckon when they had that meeting at the weekend, Josh Kroenke and Arteta, he's probably thrown Edu under the bus and said, listen, man, that boy Edu's got to go, mate. He's bringing in all these mad players. There's brown envelopes all over the office. He's got to go. Edu is a legend. Arteta isn't. I mean, in the terms of the player at Arsenal. I mean, Edu, I wouldn't say Edu was an Arsenal legend, but he was part of a legendary period of time at Arsenal. Obviously, he was around when we were invincible. So, yeah, in that sense, he was definitely part of a legendary time period for Arsenal. And yeah, when we expand on the story, people, it says Marc Overmars, Ralph Rangnick, and Michael Amanalo have all emerged as potential candidates to replace Edu. And then when we click on this story here, I hope you can see this if I zoom in. It says Edu is coming under pressure in his position as technical director at Arsenal. The Gunners' wretched start to the season with poor defeats to Brentford and Chelsea has not has increased the scrutiny not only on under fire boss, but also on the Brazilian Edu. Overmars, Ranić, and Manalo have all emerged as potential candidates to stop the rot, with Arsenal continuing to lose millions in the transfer market. The club are understood to be backing Spaniard Arteta and will provide further funds during this window. But Edu, who has been in his role since July 2019, could face a fight to save his job. I'm baffled by that. I am absolutely baffled why on earth they think that Edu alone is the problem. I've got no problem with Edu being moved on because I don't think he's doing a good job with the money. But how are Arteta's hands clean in this situation? They've just said in the previous report, Arteta is being called the mini Arsene Wenger because of the fact that he's controlling so much that is happening at the football club. So surely he's signing off these deals. Arteta says they wanted Martin Odegaard. That was their top target. They wanted Aaron Ramsdale. You know, they've identified all these players. So how is he getting away with this situation scot-free? And Edu's getting potentially replaced. They both surely should be going together. Aaron, thank you for the super chat, bro. Said people forget Arteta's title is manager and not coach. Arteta is as much to blame as Edu. They both agree on the players that are coming in, 100%. Arteta says all the time him and Edu agree to these deals. And like you said, he got upgraded from head coach to manager. So these transfers are as much his fault as Edu. So I don't get it. Ralph is a great director of football. A lot of people are saying they want Marc Overmars. I think it's more because of the Arsenal connection. He's done well at Ajax. I know a lot of people rate Ralph as well. I don't know too much about that Michael Emenalo. Which would you prefer? I mean, listen, I just want the best out of him. I lean towards Overmars because he's Arsenal. But I just want whoever is the best at the job. Big up Lee Brown. He said, great content. Keep it up. Just voted for you, bro. Big up. Kane stays. Yeah, Dax, you're happy with that, I'm sure. Seti says, big up Big C. Maybe Edu has a personal difference with Juninho. Juninho to Leon, you're saying, yeah. Mikelation. Edu is the fall guy. Edu equals Arteta. They're the same. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's interesting. Who would you rather have? Overmars for me. Gilberto was the baller. Edu was average for me. Edu had a few legendary games, but legend, no way. 100%. Barbecue cancelled this weekend. Yeah, Edu won't be throwing one this weekend. Josh Shaw said, big up Curtis. So it was Edu who decided to play a false nine against Villarreal. There you go. It wasn't him, was it? It wasn't me. Shaggy settings. It wasn't me. It was Mikel, man. It was Mikel. But somehow he's getting away with it. He's definitely snitched off Edu in that meeting. I don't care what anyone says. You know, there's no way. There's no way that he should have got away with that, you know, scot-free. He's definitely said, listen, man, it's that Edu's fault. It's his fault that this is all going wrong. So we'll have to see in terms of that. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Edu's job apparently on the line. The club are looking at potentially bringing in a new technical director. So let's see what happens with that. A little bit of go over the press conference quickly that Mikel Arteta did before the game. It's waffle time, people. Get ready for your more waffle settings from Mikel Boris Arteta. Every day I'm waffling. Remember that Rick Ross song? Every day I'm hustling. This guy waffling every day. Every day I'm waffling. Every day I'm waffling. Mick Ross. We'll call him Mick Ross. Not Rick Ross. Mick Ross. More waffle than Birdseye, mate, this guy. I'm telling you. Let's hear what he's got to say. I've just scrolled through. It looks quite long, so I'm just going to skip through the majority of it, people. I don't want to bore you with all this waffle. I'm sure you've already had your lunch or your dinner wherever you are anyway. There you go. Brand new training kit out again as modelled by Mick Ross. on maintaining focus on belief. You have to realize first that the position we are in, we are not where we want to be. We should not use too many excuses. We just try to use the moment and the challenge. We have done a lot of work. I'm going to skip through it. He's saying too much, really. I don't want to bore you people. That's the new training kit, people, from Mick Ross. Oh, dear me. More waffle than McCain, says Dangerous D. Let me zoom in a little bit on that as well so you can all see it properly, people. It's a little bit far out. He said, on building confidence. That's a big word. Confidence in what we do and what they are capable of doing. Try to find reasons. They know our preparation has been disturbed. Here we go. We had to do something at the Brentford game. We had to alter in 24 hours. It happened exactly the same thing against Chelsea, but we have to adapt. Pure excuses. Listen, they affected us and it may be harsh, but you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. Against Chelsea, you saw a team in the second half as well that keeps believing. But to be fair, they were better than us, and that's football. I mean, yeah, Chelsea were better than us. So it sounds like you're kind of saying, well, we lost because Chelsea were better than us. But we are better than Brentford. So why did we lose to Brentford? Explain that. On injuries and COVID, we had different ideas we wanted to do in the games and the plans, the players. But credit to the boys for how they tried. We put out the youngest team in the Premier League by far. I mean, you're the guy who's deciding to buy youth. So, you know, that's by choice, really. On our performances so far, he said, I think there were two different performances. The first 15-20, we didn't do anything against Brentford. We conceded from the second phase. You get momentum, and then we struggled. It's more waffle. We had 23 shots against Brentford, he said. I mean, most of them were long-range shots. The game is gone against Chelsea. I think we started the game really well. First time we got opened up, they used it, they scored. They went through 25 minutes that were difficult moments. It should have been a penalty on Bukayo. We had 4 or 5 corners. I mean, wow, we had corners. We had 4 or 5 corners. Like, come on, mate. We need more than that. We need clear chances, not corners. They are, in my opinion, the best team at the moment in Europe. We didn't manage again to score. We need clean sheets and we need to score goals. I mean, you don't say, mate. Without that, we won't be winning enough. Yeah. He doesn't tell you anything that you don't know. That's for certain, does he? Like, yeah, we need to do better. We need to score goals and keep clean sheets. We know that, mate. We know. Yeah, he never mentioned the fact that they had like 25 shots against us. But then when we have 20-odd shots, he's all over it. So, yeah. And we've already accepted defeat for City. It's frustrating. Well, he says Chelsea are better than us. So apparently if a team's better than you, you can't beat them. That's what he's basically saying. Brilliant insight from Mikel. I mean, he says things that I've never known in football. I mean, he says we need to keep clean sheets and we need to score goals. I mean, I just didn't know that was how football worked. You learn something new every day. Cheers, Mick Ross. And Martin Odegaard, I was really happy because at one stage we thought it wouldn't be possible. Madrid wasn't keen on selling. Martin always expressed his desire to come, but it wasn't looking possible. Then the door opened straight away. The club was really supportive and Edu did a great job. I mean, are you sure? Because, you know, it sounds like he's on the verge of getting sacked. So to manage the situation, we got the player that we wanted. We know because we have experience for 6 months. He makes the rest of the players around him better. His work ethic is phenomenal, blah, blah, blah. Let's move on. Aaron Ramsdale, on how he has settled in. Aaron, I spoke to him a few times before he signed. I was really impressed with his personality and his character. We need 2 goalkeepers, 2 top goalkeepers in this club. It's always been the case when I was here. And, I mean, when you was there, I'm pretty sure we had, like Almunia and Fabianski. So we definitely didn't have 2 top goalkeepers when Arteta was here. Who had different qualities, different age profiles. They need to compete. We want that in every situation. On their chances of being involved against West Brom, he says, we will see. They've both been training. We just got the visa for Martin. I think Aaron has been out for a while, but they both want to play. I would expect both of them to play tonight, to be honest. Mickey Rose. Rose. That's my nickname. Mick Ross, man. Every day I'm waffling. Every day I'm waffling. What a guy, mate. What a guy. Mick Ross. On if the Carabao Cup is a good chance for us to build intensity, he said, yeah, let's see who's available. We had some knocks and stuff. And players that need minutes, it's a competition, obviously, that we want to fight for. We need a win as well. That's the understatement of the year, mate. On his message to the fans ahead of our games against West Brom and Man City, First of all, thank you for the atmosphere. It was special. I had goosebumps and I was feeling like nothing before. I mean, then I think they tried to support very much. They are disappointed we lost at home. There has to be some reaction, but this is a project. Here we go. That word project, process, project, them special words. And this is going to take some time. You can see and tell from the recruitment that we've done and the really young squad that we have at the moment, it cannot happen overnight. I mean, with all due respect, Mikel, mate, you've been at the club since 2019 in December. I would say this is a little bit more than overnight. I'm so sophisticated. Yo, I know all my Rick Ross tunes, by the way, people. I mean, what's the song he's got with Drake? Aston Martin music. This is more like Vauxhall Astra music. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what this is, mate. So he's gone from... Hold on, I'm just remembering now. Didn't Mikel Arteta tell us last season that this project is going to explode next season? It's going to go bang next season, or it's going to go boom. What did he say? It's going to go bang next season, and it's going to explode. And we're going to be, this team that nobody can live with. And then all of a sudden, after spending 130 million in the summer, we're now being told you need to be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. You're in your third season. Okay, you had half a season, then a full season. Now we're in the start of a new season. I mean, I would say you've had overnight by now. This is more like a fortnight, mate, not overnight. We all want to make it as quick as possible, and we know the responsibility for us is to fight with the top teams in every competition, and that's not going to change, and I think we really need them, and this is a group of players that really needs them, and the club needs them now next to us because we need that confidence, that support, and that energy. But we need something to believe in. We need to see a manager that is moving us forward. He's taking us backwards. Man says it did go bang and it sunk, I'm telling you. He told us it was going to explode. It was going to bang. I thought it was bonfire night this season at Arsenal. I thought we were going to see fireworks, rockets. We've just blown up and capitulated. We've got worse. I don't know what kind of bang and explosion this is, but it ain't a good one. Cruising down the freeway. Vauxhall Astra music. Oh, dear me. It ain't Aston Martin music, that's for certain. Yeah, it went from we're going to blow up the big bang to be patient, enjoy the project. I mean, thank you very much. That's the end of Waffle FC. Mick Ross will return at some stage tonight when he does his press conference after the game. So Waffle Settings will return tomorrow. But yeah, I need to know. I thought it was exploding. I thought there was a bang. Thought we were going to be this team nobody could control. And now you're telling us be patient and stick by us. We're trying our best, mate. We've had a tough 18 months under his management. I don't know how he gets away with it. He's got to be the most, sure of himself and arrogant manager that I've ever seen. Someone tweeted the other day, what did they say? I think they said he's got the arrogance of Mourinho, but the playing style of Tony Pulis or something like that. Like, it's crazy. Big up Brooks with a super chat. He said, UEFA Champions League champions in 3 years. What happened to that? This guy is Mick Ross from Suits, talks like a lawyer. Yo, didn't he, when Willian signed, he said, I signed a 3-year contract because Mikel told me he wants to win the Champions League in 3 years. I mean, do me a favor, mate. Like, we'll be lucky if we're in the Europa League in 3 years with this guy in charge. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. But yeah, big up for that, Brooks. You're right. As the big man said, it's time to go. Shout out Claude, man. Rest in peace to Claude, man. He knew. We knew, people. Most underachieving manager in the Premier League at the moment. He's the biggest boss that you've seen thus far. He's the biggest fraud that I've seen thus far, man. That's what I would say. Underrated super chat. Yeah, that was quality, man. You got it bang on there, Brooks. I love how you put in all these tunes in. Edu stays scheming. He's holding us back for real. But let's move on. More transfer news. And this is probably why Edu, mate, could be out the door first. 20 L's in 60 games, as you said. That falls on the feet of the manager. We said this yesterday. Lucas Torreira is going to Fiorentina. Okay, we don't mind that. He doesn't want Doesn't sound like they want to keep him. Let's just make sure it's an obligation to buy. And guess what, people? And this is why we say this all the time, innit? This is why we say it. If it makes sense, then Arsenal will not do it. We know it. We know it. That is the slogan, and it makes sense because Arsenal loan out Lucas Torreira, who they paid 27 million for. He's just been on loan at Atletico Madrid with no obligation to buy. They sent him back, didn't want him. And guess what? Bingo. Thank you very much, Edu and Arsenal. Paperwork signed between Arsenal and Fiorentina, who joins on loan, £1.5 million fee with a buy option for 15 million euros. Medical completed yesterday. I would love to know how this football club does business. It makes no sense. We just can't sell anybody. Surely a club would take Lucas Torreira on loan with an obligation. You know, he seems very highly rated in Italy. So guess what, people? You know what's going to happen here, don't you? He's going to go Fiorentina. He's going to play average. And we'll see him back at Arsenal next pre-season with a year left on his contract. And no one's going to want to buy him because he'll have been to Atletico and done nothing on loan. And then he'll have been to Fiorentina and done nothing on loan. And we won't be able to sell him. You can see it. It makes no sense. I don't get it. So 15 million euros if he goes, which is 13 million. So check this. And this is why I think Arsenal are a special type of club. Arsenal refused to sell Granit Xhaka for 15 million euros, a player that I felt we should have sold. But now we're willing to let Lucas Torreira go on loan with an option to buy him for 15 million euros. He's younger than Granit Xhaka. Whether he's better, we can have a debate. So on one hand, you don't mind him going, but the other, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Work in progress for Willian to Corinthians and Kolasinac to Fenerbahce. Penalty spot. Appreciate you becoming a member on the channel, bro. Unfortunately, it's flown off the screen as the comments are flying in, so I can't actually bring it up on screen, but really appreciate you becoming a member. Penalty spot. Look out for all the content coming for the members and obviously your regular content as well. So really appreciate that. Why on earth would they let Torreira go for so cheap? Criminal business again. And you've put it there. It's a great point, Afam. Torreira and Guendouzi. Some people would say they're both better than Granit Xhaka. Guendouzi's gone on loan and they're going to buy him for £10 million. And Torreira's going on loan for the second time and they can buy him for 15 million euros. Yeah, Granit Xhaka, oh no, we can't sell him for 15 million. He's too good. He's way too good. So what we'll do, we'll give him a 24 million pound contract to keep him. But these guys, you let them just walk out. Not even a permanent, you know. I bet money with most of you in the chat, this guy ends up back at Arsenal next season. He'll go Fiorentina, be average and come back. They'll send him home. And we'll be in the same mess next year. He'll be worth about 7 million next year. And people think Conte would walk into this mess and ruin his own career and reputation. You probably got a point for real. Unless the board got serious, that's the only way. Big up One Rovers Vlog says, big up Curtis, keep smashing the content as always. Appreciate your support, bro. Guna Camera Wiper said, get the guy who sells the merch to buy the players. That guy's a businessman. I'm telling you. The guys who are dealing with the shirts. Oz says the club are losing money on all fronts with shoddy business. If Lucas Torreira played for the majority of the other clubs, if he played for Chelsea, they'd get 25 million for it. Liverpool, these clubs who know how to do business. He's a 25-year-old, isn't he? 25, Lucas Torreira. Uruguayan international, just been on loan at Atletico Madrid. Won the title. I know he didn't play much, and we can't even get 15 million for him. You know, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't get it. Let's see what he's saying. Glower TV says, what's up, Curtis? Big shout out from Los Angeles. Big up from the West Coast. Get the likes up. Chelsea are no pushovers in the transfer market. Mourinho's interest in Xhaka artificially inflated his price and the club panicked. We got punked by Jose. It's one of them. I don't think he really wanted him that much, to be honest. He kind of almost forced us to give him a new contract, which is crazy. Brendan said, hey, Curtis, the obvious lack of direction and strategy of the club is evident. A fish rots at the head. So why aren't we talking about the CEO? He's responsible. Listen, there was a protest on Sunday. People weren't interested. So we're at this point, we're wasting our time. As frustrating as that is. And I've been somebody that's been very on this. We need a new manager and a new owner. The people aren't up for it, unfortunately. Brett said losing all that money over the place is Stan noticing that. That's probably why they're going to get rid of Edu first. But don't forget, people, the manager is a huge part of the problem at Arsenal. Colin said, I'm with you though, Curtis. We should snap up our 100%. Since that boy Richard Garlick came in, our business dealings have been wild. I mean, Garlick by name, Garlick by nature, mate. He's stinking out the place at the moment. BK said, trust the protest. Very difficult to, mate. They don't want to. Fans in London need to protest. Like I said, mate, they didn't want to. Enter said, I paid £4.20 for a pie, bruv. Probably didn't even taste nice either, did it? Big Up Jay said, call made 2 weeks ago. Hi, Stan. Oh, sorry, Josh. You sound like it's Mikel Arteta. Willian was all Edu's and his mate Kia. Anyway, about that money for Ramsdale. I'm telling you, he's just blaming him. He's going to get him sacked, blame him for everything, and just give himself another few months at the club. Big Up Jay with the super chat, man. Imagine a learner driver driving the bus. That's Arsenal. You wouldn't get on that bus, would you, mate, if he said, listen, I've only got my my provisional driving license. You just wouldn't do it. It stinks of garlic. Richard Garlic breath. Andrew Ritchie said, Curtis, my bro, makes me happy when I see you're live. Big up, bro. It's not going to be, well, I'm going to say it's going to be a shorter show today, but we're nearly at an hour anyway. He thinks I'm big Pep Guardiola. Before we move on, just quickly, there was a great interview that came out today. It was mentioned earlier, but obviously Jack Wilshere did an interview with The Athletic with David Ornstein. And he said a few things. I think Arsenal fans, again, there's always some sort of like emotion attached to Jack Wilshere. He's a gooner through and through, but unfortunately the injuries denied him of what I think should have been a major football career. Jack Wilshere said, honestly, I should have never left Arsenal in 2018. That's nothing against West Ham. It could have been anyone, but I shouldn't have left. I had a conversation with Arsene when I came back from Bournemouth. He then went on to say, Wilshere said, Wenger said, look, you can leave. You're not going to get a new contract here. Knowing Arsene the way I knew him and how much he rated me as a footballer, I knew if I got myself fit and there were lots of games and I could get myself into that team. He goes on to say, I wish I had the same mentality when I sat down with Emery. And he said, look, there's a contract on the table, but you're not in my starting 11. I remember walking out angry because I thought I was going to play. I proved myself the year before. So basically, Unai Emery was willing to keep him at the football club, and but he walked out. He says basically the last year of Arsene Wenger, he felt he'd proved himself enough to be in the starting lineup. And when Unai Emery, despite the fact Emery said, I will renew your contract, but you're not going to be in my starting 11, he decided he had to leave. For anybody that's watched or read the interview, he obviously goes on to say, look, he spoke to his agent. He had an offer from West Ham. I think he has some sort of family connection to West Ham as well. Decided to go and get first-team football. That didn't work. He then went to Bournemouth in the Championship. He's now without a club. And he goes on to talk about things to do with mental health, the way his children have been joked about, saying that, your dad hasn't got a football team, says he loves Arsenal. He'd still love to be there. A lot of people saying bring him back to Arsenal, but I don't think he is at the level that we require anymore, to be honest. Which is, unfortunate because, he could have been a really top player for Arsenal. Shahira, big up with a super chat, said if results won't improve fast, the fans at the stadium will hound Arteta out, me hope. Listen, as I said yesterday, people, there's The Chelsea game was one game, and the fans are already surrounding the manager's car as he leaves, shouting at Edu inside the stadium. You turn that into 3-4 defeats at the Emirates will be absolutely toxic. I guarantee you. And I'm not encouraging it. It's just the reality of what's going to happen. So appreciate your super chat. Brett said, damn sad to not see Jack Wilshere playing. Apparently, Wayne Rooney is speaking to him about possibly going to Derby County. Give him the Gunnosaurus job. I mean, listen, you'll be back at the Emirates at least in some capacity. Man said the man's homeless. I mean, not in the sense, I'm sure he's got a big, massive house, but in the footballing sense. He is better than Xhaka and El Neni. I would agree, but you just can't keep him fit, unfortunately. You know, I don't know if he can get about the pitch, although Xhaka doesn't exactly get around the pitch, and El Neni on the ball is bang average. People will be flipping Arteta's car. I mean, it's going to get ugly, as Taz is saying here. Malik said, this guy has a major talent, was a potential Arsenal and England captain. Besides injuries, I think the expectation at that age was too much, like he peaked too young. Sad story. I rated him. I think most Arsenal fans rated him. You know, we all remember that amazing performance against Barcelona, you know, when he ripped up Xavi and that. And, you know, I think Jack Wilshere and Fabregas, for me, are two of the best young players I've ever seen come through at Arsenal. I would say those two were better than Saka and ESR, you know. I thought they were going to be world beaters. Fabregas, you know, he did become that player, really. But Jack, it just didn't happen. 2,600 of you in the chat. Great support, people. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. And don't forget, I'll be back at 7:30 p.m. tonight, UK time, for the watch-along Arsenal against West Brom, 8 o'clock kickoff, Carabao Cup action. Jay said, big up Curtis, Jack and Diaby are two major disappointments. I would even add Santi Cazorla to that as well, and Thomas Rosicky. I know we got quite a bit out of Cazorla, but I felt when he found his very best form at Arsenal in that midfield role, you know, he got injured too quick. Camille said, Jack move would be put vibes on 10 and brain in 0. Yeah, like it would be an emotion that would encourage you to sign him. Zach said, I'm encouraging our fans to make it so toxic they have to act and send these frauds packing. I honestly hope no other club let Arteta in as their manager. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. What level Big C is better than Xhaka? Probably is. Edu on the brown envelopes handing out silly contract. Basically, I think Edu is going to get sacked before Mikel Arteta. I see him as the fall guy. At the end of the day, when something goes wrong, people need somebody to blame. And I think Edu is going to be the guy that gets the blame. I think the club are going to look at it and think somebody has to be moved on from this situation. We're going to have to do something different, bring somebody different in. For me, I would be getting rid of both of them. If Edu goes, I think Arteta should be going right with him. He's as culpable as anybody, in my opinion. Apparently, the two of them agree to the transfer deals, so I don't see any different why it's only Edu that would be the fall guy and Arteta is not. But hey, it's the Arsenal way. I'm sure even if Edu goes first, eventually we would see Mikel Arteta go out behind him. I'm sure he wouldn't be too far behind him. Arteta and Edu out, Conte and Overmars in. That for me would be the dream team. I'm telling you. That is what I would love to see. So, yeah, people, listen, I'm out of here. 2,500 of you in here. Smash the likes on the way out. Just quickly before we leave, give me a score predictions in the comments for tonight, people. Arsenal against West Brom. And big up Charlie, who says, cheese fan here, but Edu is the... Hey, I think he meant to say Chelsea, but listen, he's definitely not, mate. No, he's definitely not, but I appreciate your super chat. Score predictions for tonight, people. Do you see an Arsenal win? I do think that Arsenal are going to put out a fairly strong team. Surprisingly, a lot of you are saying West Brom victories, although Brooks says 3-1 win, 3-0, 2-1 to the Baggies, 2-1 to Arsenal, 2-1 to West Brom. No goal of the month. If Arsenal don't score against West Brom or Manchester City, there cannot be a goal of the month for August because we haven't scored a goal. I mean, that is absolutely wild. It really is. Lavan said, are you going to be able to stream the Football Content Awards? We would love to see you receive your trophies. Listen, hopefully, if I can win one, God willing, I can stream. Let's see. Tony, I will be doing a watch along tonight. Join me at 7:30 for an 8 o'clock kickoff. So we will be doing a watch along. Closest goal of the month. The club must be desperate for us to score tonight. Penalty, tap in, own goal, anything. Whoever scores, you're winning goal of the month. So it is what it is, people. But listen, thank you very much for tuning in. Great support as always, people. Smash the like, subscribe. Check out the Football Content Awards link in the description. Appreciate all of your support as usual. Join me at 7:30 for the watch along. Take care, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bless.